Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ice Cream. This is The Scoop. You see, that's a play on words. My name is Graham Day, and this guy who's not properly in the box because, there we go. There he is. He's back. Here's the bib. And for those of you listening...
Just have a look at my phone. Why have a board or something next to me, but it's not. It's because you didn't bring me full screen.
Yeah, I was running the diagnostics. If you're listening on audio services, you may already be telling that Bib's having some sort of robotic noises. My connection just decided to bottom out a little bit when I went live on the stream, so we will try to decipher what Bib says, and then we will try to decipher it through the connection issues. Anyway, good morning, guys, says Griff96. Good morning. How the devil are you? How's everyone doing? If you're in the chat, please feel free to let us know. It is, I say 10 a.m. It's actually just after 10:30. It's 10-ish on Wednesday the 5th. I had to look down then at the calendar as well just to see. Wednesday the 5th of December. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. We are live around 10 o'clock every single weekday at 10 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday to bring you The Scoop, which is our take on the gaming industry's news. The biggest and best stories from the games industry and beyond. Is it Thursday? Oh my god! I don't even know! It's my birthday week. Let me off. So yes, we bring you The Scoop every day, around an hour of the best gaming news, our impressions and our thoughts mixed with your input, and then we turn that into an on-demand video podcast that we upload to YouTube around an hour or so after the show finishes, and then a little bit later on in the day we give you the podcast then on demand on 4 audio services. So those are iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud and Google Play, yes, but the second one, Spotify, You need to keep doing that. You keep listening to it on Spotify because the Spotify Wrapped stuff's just gone out today. So, next year, if maybe this year, but at least next year, I want to see you guys tweeting pictures of your Spotify Wrapped stuff. I want to see the Ice Cream Scoop in your most listened to things because, I know Bibby listens to all the podcasts in the world. He sent me screenshots already of it this morning from his Spotify Wrapped. But yes, it is Thursday. I got there eventually. I got there. Griff got me there in the chat. Thank you very much, Griff. Gambit says, yo, how you doing, Gambit? Good morning. How are you doing, babe? Let's see if we can actually hear your voice. That's the main thing.
Yes, Graham, I am doing very well.
Are you?
You hear that?
That's good to hear.
It's good because you keep on chopping out, or it looks like we're having technical difficulties again this morning, but you keep on chopping out, so I'm just going to stay quiet, believe it or not, until you say, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it seems like it's settled down a little bit now, so we should be all right.
Yeah, it seems okay. Although, one thing that hasn't settled down is the intensity of the light on my face. I've been tinkering with my lighting setup, and now I look like I'm glowing. Although it's not too bad because the intensity of the light kind of almost washes out a little bit the imperfections in my skin and makes me look a bit more like makeup. So I'll take that. We need intense lights all over the face.
Don't know about that, mate.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, if you were in the chat, please feel free to jump into the comments. Let us know if you were there. Let us know what you think as well, because obviously you guys are the only ones watching live. Anyone that watches the podcast, the on-demand version of this show, they don't get a chance to share their thoughts. They don't get a chance to question me when I say it's Wednesday, when it's clearly a Thursday. Cheers, Griff. So you guys in the chat, you guys are important because you guys are the only one that can be the voice of the masses, so make sure you get involved. As I said, we go live on YouTube, on demand on YouTube, and then on 4 audio podcast services later on in the day, so feel free to get involved. Only Human Jelly with the lurk. Good morning. But now, let's jump into the news. Straight into things. So if you don't know how this works, if you are new here on The Scoop, we have a raid. No, we have a host. Good morning, pirate. Let's go. Danny Day says hello. good morning. I want to shout out to Danny Day as well. She took me to, let's say, before we jump into the news actually, it was my birthday a couple of days ago. You may have heard me mention it once or twice in passing, but not made a big thing about it on the scoop. So Danny Day bought me this fridge that you can see just here if you're watching the video services. It's just on my left if you're not on the audio podcasts. But she also took me out last night, so we went to see a Meatloaf tribute act. Shout out to Mr. Day, who's no longer with us. Kind of a tribute to that. So thanks babe. But anyway, jumping into the news. Obviously, if you don't know how this works, we run through our picks of the news every day, every weekday on the scoop, and we're starting off with something potentially tasty. So let's jump in. So this is written by Stephany Nunneley on VG247. She says Microsoft still plans to release diskless version of Project Scarlett. Report. I was like, what? But yeah, okay, this is a report. I get it now. Okay, it looks like Microsoft still plans to release a diskless version of its next-gen Xbox console, according to a report. Sources speaking with Kotaku state the less expensive diskless console, codenamed Lockhart, is still in development at Microsoft. According to the report, a source told Kotaku that... I'm guessing that's missing the word it. According to the report, a source told Kotaku that it will be on par with PlayStation 4 Pro, will feature a solid-state drive and a faster CPU than what current-gen consoles support. Okay, there we go. It's early. This is the first news article of the day. Give us a bit of time, ladies and gentlemen. The report says Microsoft is targeting 1440p resolution and 60 frames per second on Lockhart and will be heavily promoted with Microsoft's xCloud and Game Pass, the latter of which includes the diskless version. It was included with the diskless version of Xbox One S. I didn't realise that. So if you bought an Xbox One S, you got Xbox Game Pass with it. Interesting. When reached for comment by the site, Microsoft said it does not comment on rumours and speculation. In 2018, a leak outed the specs of two upcoming Xbox consoles, codenamed Lockhart and Anaconda. It was later reported that the diskless version of the console was scrapped. This new report now states otherwise. The leak, like today's report, suggested Lockhart would be the entry-level, cheaper version of the console and without a disc tray. Alongside the diskless model, the more powerful Anaconda was also being developed. It said the latter is the console Microsoft is currently discussing as part of its Project Scarlett line, which is slated for release during holiday 2020. I am going to mute my microphone while I blow my nose, but let's jump over to Bib for his thoughts.
Well, that was a bit of a patchy one. So obviously I was reading along with you. Let's hope that all of the rest of you as well. Graham blows his nose, can hear me still. But yeah, I mean, I think now I think it's been accepted, the fact that they've got the Xbox One without the diskless. The diskless Xbox One, now the S. I think that's been embraced by a lot of people, and I think we spoke about this yesterday, or it was earlier on in the week, about people potentially picking this up just so they can use it as xCloud Stadia-ish type device. So I'm guessing if this one is going to come out and it's going to be a lot cheaper and people still want that option, they can be able to do that for like half the cost of what it could cost to buy the disc version of it. This is definitely something that we talked about last week. The fact that Xbox was willing to do this 7 years ago means that they was so far in front of everybody else. It was just at the wrong time. But it's completely embraced now with the likes of Stadia and xCloud and every other digital service that you can use for streaming now for playing games. Yeah, I think it's a good move. It's an ideal move for a budget console, especially if you're only going to be using it for Games Pass or, I don't know, backwards compatibility games. Is it going to be backwards compatibility with Xbox One games and 360 games? Like the 360 was compatible with the original Xbox, and then Xbox One you could play some 360 games. Is that going to be the same? Has it even been stated yet?
I don't think it has. I know that with the PS5 they mentioned that backwards compatibility will be available, and they didn't give details, but it was rumoured that it would be all PlayStation games would be backwards compatible, which would be, I mean, not that I ever would use it. I think we've kind of established the fact that Bibby is the retro gamer, whereas I'm like, give me the new stuff. But yeah, the idea that you could just get Twisted Metal PS1 disc, stick it in your PS5 and just play that would be cool. That's what the rumours kind of suggest, but obviously it's just rumour. However, I don't think Project Scarlett, I don't think there's been anything on backwards compatibility. If there is, obviously, feel free to let us know in the chat. We don't have all the facts with us right now. But, yeah, looking at that article, I would kind of expect... So Lockhart is in development at Microsoft. So according to the report, a source told Kotaku that it will be on par with PlayStation 4 Pro, will feature a solid-state drive, a faster CPU than what current gen consoles sport. So it's going up to 1440p, so it's obviously not 4K. 60 FPS, so 1440p, 60 FPS, ridiculously good if you want in reaction gameplay. Obviously not the best resolutions, but if you're playing it on a 24-inch monitor, then that's more than enough. But yeah, it's kind of a given, I'd say. I mean, what we were talking about then, and what we'd previously spoken about, the fact that xCloud and almost Microsoft are looking to have that Stadia-esque standalone version where you don't need discs, you don't put anything in, you've literally just got the console, you take it with you, you plug it in, you can download games from the internet using Game Pass or xCloud, and that's it. You can just play it on the go and stick an SSD in that. The loading times and everything, it's just going to be turn it on, boom, gone, pow. Especially if you're using xCloud as well and an SSD, you just like jump straight in on the go. So I'm still not there. And it's no surprise by saying a statement like that we mentioned that obviously they tried to do this at the start of the last generation and got absolutely shot down for it because they missed the target. They had such a good plan, they just missed the target with the way that they were pushing it forward with DRM and all that. The world wasn't ready for their plans. But now, obviously, with the likes of Stadia and people wanting to try a game on the go, it definitely it's not surprising to see that they're going for that digital-only, opt-in, low end of the budget. I mean, especially if they can get it around a Stadia price. I mean, the one thing that Stadia's done right is costing in terms of 119 quid for the whole setup is pretty decent, as opposed to 500 quid is what the rumoured price is going to be for the PS5. So yeah, that's good. I love and hate discs. Love to see how many games I own and the shareability of the games, but I hate my kid touching them because fingerprints and he scratches them with no idea how. What is that lit up in the background? As in that is a Philips Hue light. It's called a Go. It's pretty. I think I might have the box down here actually, and I don't. Never mind. but yeah, it's a little portable like Philips Hue Go. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
See, if they was to bring the console out, I think 129 quid, if they was to bring it out, I think that's far too low. I'd probably say if they was going to release a discless one, you're probably looking at about 220.
Yeah.
I would probably more than likely pick an Xbox One up, an Xbox Scarlett up, for the sake of just streaming the games. I am a massive collector of games, not to the degree where I'm spending £200 on a game to make sure that it ends up in my library. But if I'm going to CEX or to a retro game store, I'm most likely to walk out with at least 2 or 3 games I actually enjoyed playing when I was growing up. I don't want to collect games just for the sake of saying I've got it. I'd rather collect games that I know I'm either going to play, ever played, or I enjoyed growing up with. So with the Xbox new console that'll be coming out, if they do bring a diskless version out, I probably will end up picking that because I know that's not going to be my main console. I know it's just going to be for games that I'm streaming. To be fair, when it comes to new games, I'm trying to think of the last new game that I physically went out and bought. And to be fair, even from the store, I think Resident Evil 2 was the last game that I went out on launch day and got, because I got that physical. What was the last one that you bought?
I know what the last one I bought and went out and bought it physically because it pisses me off each and every single day, and that was Star Wars Battlefront 2 when I went out and I bought the deluxe Stormtrooper edition or whatever it was called, and so I thought I loved Star Wars Battlefront. I played it for months after everyone else. Everyone else had given up on it because there was no single player campaign. It was just multiplayer. I played a few games with Steve from Ice Cream. Rest in peace, Steve. He's not actually dead. He's just no longer part of the ICU studios. So I played a bunch of it with Steve back in the day. I played it for months after everyone else had kind of moved on. And so then invested heavily in, I'm going to buy this Deluxe Stormtrooper edition from Game. So made the faff of like ringing stores ahead to make sure they had it. Went in, fought my way through the Trafford Centre, and it was like Christmas time as well. So it wasn't even as if it was just like, I'm just going to nip to the Trafford Centre. It was like, I'm going to fight my way into the Trafford Centre. I'm going to like go in swinging arms left, right, and centre, try and fight my way through the crowd, then get into Game, and there's a queue of about 50 people. Got there, got home, and it was the shittest game. I've played it for about 2 hours. It's horrible. But I mean, it was, and that wasn't even factoring in all of the loot crate stuff. I just didn't like what they've done with it. The class setup. A lot of people do, but they just changed it from being Star Wars Battlefront to every other shooter game, but with Star Wars skins. So I just kind of gave up on it. So yeah, that was the last game I bought. I do like the idea of having discs. Similar same thing. Just mentioned is, love to see how many games I own. I mean, it's kind of like, Pirate was talking about the shelves and stuff behind me. I like having things on display like that. Not that I have any discs on display. I do like that from an old school collectability kind of thing. But there is the amount of ease of having the digital versions and stuff, that the benefits of that is also huge.
Well, when it comes to the ease, is it worth the extra 20 quid? Because you know full well that when new games come out onto the marketplace, they are probably priced at around £50 to £55, where you can go to the shop and pick up a physical copy for about 40 quid. So is it worth the extra £10 to £20 to have this so you don't have to get up? For me, it's not, and as a person who's probably got about 500 physical games in his bedroom scattered around somewhere, I do like a good physical copy. Basically, because if the servers go down or whatever, you can still play the game offline, providing that it's an offline game.
Yeah,
And if you buy games from the store, do you actually ever get them? I mean, this is a debate that's gone on forever, but do you actually own the games? Like, if they was to take your licensing away, then you're fucked, aren't you? You can't play the game again.
Yeah, that's the thing when you're owning digital IPs, you kind of, I think it's the same thing applies effectively to a disc, ish, in terms of. I'm fairly sure in the legalities you don't actually own the game or something. You own the disc, and when you buy the game, you essentially own a license to it. The difference is, if you do something dodgy and get your account shut down, you can stick that disc into another account and play. Whereas if your PSN account gets locked down with 500 games on it, then unlucky son, that's all your games gone.
That's what I'm always fearful of anyway. But yeah, if my account gets hacked or whatever, I'm knackered then. But yeah, when it comes to the new console, chances are, because I know it's not going to be my main console. I mean, I don't even have an Xbox One as it stands now. I was looking to invest in one. I just need to try and find the right amount of money at the right amount of time to be able to play it.
£99 on Black Friday. You could have got yourself an Xbox One S digital version with an extra pad and 3 games or whatever, or something like that.
Well, I have about 30p in my bank account, so yeah, maybe a £99.70 later on, we might be able to get one.
Well, the idea of next gen, though, having a diskless version, having not 8K, because obviously, let's say what we know about the PS5, they're going to have the 8K version of the console. Obviously, the haptic pad stuff that we've spoken about, like the triggers as well, having haptic sensors on them. So we know all of that. PlayStation have come out saying bam, bam, bam. But Microsoft, obviously, they haven't said it. This is only a rumour, but the rumour that they're going for something that's only 1440p. I say only, that's still plenty, but only 1440p, only disc, only digital, so diskless, and we'd imagine it would then put it then obviously a lower area of the ballpark, especially if the PlayStation comes out at £500 next holiday, and then you get the Xbox. Let's call it the Xbox 2. You get the Xbox 2 X and the Xbox 2 S. Let's say the diskless version is the S. A lot of parents are going to see 500 quid for a PlayStation, 500 quid for the X, 200 quid, 250, 300 quid, whatever for the S. They're probably going to go, actually, do you know what? That's pretty good, is that? If we could just get the S, then yeah, that's it. Jobs are good, and my kids can just take that, save 200 quid. I can buy peripherals and accessories. I can go on with a fully kitted out setup, and my kids just like, yeah, but that's it. So it could be good. I mean, not that we actually do. PlayStation have previous of selling multiple consoles like that at once? I know they've had like
they usually have the base one and then the Pro later on, don't they? Or a Slim.
Yeah, whereas the Xbox 360 had they had ambiguous names like Elite and Pro or something like that. And I remember getting whatever the better one was. I think that was the Elite. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft had previous of launching 2 consoles to begin with. PlayStation don't. So, I mean, that could be a smart move for them. Try and get a bigger share of the market from the beginning, have multiple options, allow people to scale it to their needs, and then go from there. But yeah, I mean, that said, they've still got a long way to go to catch up to PlayStation, but a completely new generation means that it's a completely fresh start. And when you've got things like Xbox Game Pass taking a slash on top of things like PlayStation Now, then they've got the tools to definitely take a bigger share of the next gen anyway.
Right, well, I'm going to ask you a question now. I'm going to mark this down as episode 43 of The Scoop. What do you reckon? Xbox, if they do release this with 1 pad and 1 game, we obviously don't know what the games are going to be. What do you reckon the price is going to be on release date?
Of digital only.
Digital only.
I'm going to say it's not going to be as cheap as we want it, so I'm going to say $349.
With a game and a control, well, with a bundle deal. So obviously the controller comes with a console. So $349 with a game.
Yeah, I'm going to say $349. It might come with a game. It probably come with like a Forza or whatever, a Gears kind of thing. An Xbox own sort of game, maybe pre with it. But if not, it'll be just like buying console and pad. So $349 will be the minimum sort of like. Halo Infinite, yeah, there you go. That's probably it. Although I can see Halo Infinite. Being...
All right, so I'll change the question then. So Xbox with a first-party game because they're all usually priced around the same price.
Yeah, I'd say around $349 will be the digital, and then $499 being the. So if that one is so Scarlett has got Lockhart and Anaconda. If Lockhart's the cheaper one, I would say $349. I'd say Anaconda $499.
$499. All right, so I'm gonna go with the digital version. I'm gonna go $379. And for the disc version, I feel like it's not gonna be like. Oh, this is tough. Right, I'm gonna go $479. So an extra £100 for the disc tray.
Interesting. I would say. I feel that this is probably the first time where consoles are going to break the £500 mark. I just got that feeling. So when I'm going $499, that's me kind of thinking maybe $549 is probably more likely. At the beginning, definitely. I feel that's what it's kind of going to start off. Obviously, you won't say that. I say $329 digital and disc $399, says Next Gen Renegade. Yeah.
So what about PS4 then? While we're doing this, PS4 day one, we're not going to do a diskless version because they're not going to do that. PS4 first party game bundle.
I would put it same ballpark as the Xbox. So do I go $499 again, or do we go $549?
It's tough this because you got to think like, will it be inflated? Will it be because they've had such a good marketing campaign that they can afford to put a decent price in it, or do you reckon that they're going to try and undercut Xbox? Because for me, they've kind of towards the lifespan of these consoles have led the way really. It's a tricky one, the PS4, because they're in such a good position. Do they want to carry on being in that position, or do you reckon that they're going to try and just lock down whatever they've got?
I think the thing I'm trying to factor in as well is I remember Mark Cerny, or is it Cerny? I always forget his name. I think it's Cerny. The like architect of the PS4 and PS5. And I remember in the interview that he did with Wired, he was saying one of the things that they were umming and ahhing about was whether to include SSDs because they had significant cost. And I think they've got to the point where that is definitely something they can do in terms of a cost exercise. But I think that plus, I mean, an iPhone, we accept that they cost $1,000 now. So I think that general stuff will make it go up. And Griffin in the chat says my Xbox One X was $449 on launch day. So Yeah.
But you see, that's the pro version, though, isn't it? That's not the base. That's not the base model.
Yeah, it's still a gen back though. That's the thing. I'm gonna go 499 as well. I'll say
499.
Which obviously, because conversion, although it is kind of closer now. I mean, 7 years ago, 499 or whatever dollars did not equate to £499, but it pretty much does these days.
So I'm gonna go 479 for PlayStation as well. So both the physical disc versions of both the console, I reckon they're going to be priced exactly the same. I reckon they're going to try and price match each other rather than undercut, especially with the first console coming out. When it comes down to the slim versions and the revisions, I 100% think that they're going to try and undercut each other depending on who releases theirs first. But day one, I think they're going to give the parents something to look at.
I think like undercutting, I think probably won't begin straight off. I think Microsoft will have, they're going to try do the look. We have xCloud, we have the Game Pass. We're going to give you months of these for free, 3 months to get you started. We have the cheaper version. We've got to call it the S, which is the diskless version, 1440p, 60 FPS. Or you've got the all singing, all dancing, 500 quid daddy, which is this, that, and the other. And I think they both know that they're gonna sell a stupid amount anyway, because there are Xbox fanboys, there are PlayStation fanboys. Mm-hmm. Each camp will have people that will just purchase it day one anyway. Then you will get a lot of people buying them just to flog them on Facebook and eBay and everything anyway, because that's all those knobheads do. They buy them out so you can't buy them. So I think it would probably be counterintuitive from a business standpoint for them to release it at lower than it needs to be. Although that said, I think you will start to see that happen either because one of them is already falling behind. So Xbox's DRM stuff made them start off on the wrong foot. So they had to change everything, do everything to get people back on side, win the hearts and minds, whereas Sony could just do whatever they wanted then. So Xbox, their prices dropped quicker than PlayStation's prices. Obviously PlayStation's have dropped and they've both normalised over time. But I think neither of them would want to take that cut straight away. I think they will both be going for that perceived value of, yeah, it might cost 20 quid more, but it's the product, it's the brand. So yeah, I could see them both coming out high. The thing, I could either see Xbox's prices dropping because PlayStation's doing well.
No, Pro right now is £320 to buy straight out of the box, brand new.
What, a PS4 Pro?
Yeah, and it's in its last year of a life cycle.
And how much is that?
If you go to eBuyer, it's £300 bundled in with the game. So you either got Death Stranding or Red Dead Redemption 2. Both of those consoles are £300. If you want the limited edition Death Stranding PS4 Pro bundle, it's £380. So that now is your barrier, considering that's in its last life cycle. I'm probably going to say add another 100 quid on top of that because it's a brand new console. We're straight out the box. Not 4K in Xbox's instance, but HDR enabled. So that's why I was just thinking then, see what the price is now, and then chuck another 100 quid on top of that.
Yeah, it's, my thought process is, like you say, end of a generation, market saturation, so supply and demand will start to take effect. There's a lot of supply starting to build up as opposed to product launch when there's less supply and a huge demand for it. Mm-hmm. Plus the fact that general inflation, things get more expensive over time anyway, particularly within the last 10 to 15 years of tech. So I imagine prices will move up with that. And then just the more expensive technology, at least to start with, I can see them hitting the £500 marker. Precision, thank you very much for the host. How the devil are you, good sir? Let's jump back through the chat. We've got a link to a Hue bundle for Pirate. That was in response to... that's the go. I really wanted it, but couldn't justify buying it. It's really cool. It's a good light. It's sexy little light. Good thing is as well, I mean, that there, if I decided that I wanted that just here, I could just pick it up and walk around with it. It has a little power cable to keep it charged, but you can take it around a stroll. Still, still a little pricey, but the player lights and bridge is a good deal. Yeah, the bridge changes things. Game changer. Xbox won't release digital-only console, just Sony fanboys trying to troll. Halo Infinite is a launch title. Xbox making mad moves recently. xCloud is beast. Games Pass is getting better and better, and all the first-party acquisitions for next gen. Yeah, that's the thing, though. There's been quite a lot of analysis on Xbox doing that. Xbox needed to make moves. When you are in second place, you have to try to get first place. When you're in first place, you just need to maintain the status quo. Just like Sony in the PS3 generation, they launched late. All their marketing messaging was a bit naff, so they had to create different experiences. They pushed ahead with the single-player story stuff as well, brought it back to the forefront of Hearts and Minds with the Uncharted series, the Naughty Dog stuff. I mean, Resistance kind of stuff early on as well. So yeah, PlayStation had to rip up the rulebook and make waves, and Xbox have had to do the same thing throughout the last gen because they were always behind. They always have been behind. The console numbers have the gap has shrunk naturally because everyone's got a PS4. Not everyone has an Xbox, so more people will be able to buy Xboxes. That'll shrink the gap standard. But yes, that said, just because they had to make those moves didn't mean that they could. It's not easy to get from second place to first place or even close the gap. By saying that they've done it, it sounds like I'm undermining it. I mean, they had to do it, but they've done it really, really well. We've spoken at length about xCloud and Game Pass just yesterday, actually, saying how I'm not a fanboy for either. I do own both consoles. I own an Xbox. I only own a One S, but I own a PS4 Pro. I'm always probably more of a PlayStation game just because that's where I always have been, apart from the 360 era. And I share a birthday with PlayStation, fun fact. But yeah, I mean, Xbox definitely are the one that are from a consumer side of things. The fact that they are doing great things with Game Pass and xCloud. The question you always would ask is, would they be giving you Game Pass and xCloud? Would they, not that it's not profitable. It clearly is profitable if they're pushing it as they are. But would they have thought about going down that avenue and giving you extra things for free? Or for less money, perceived less money. Would they do that if they were already out in front and they could sell you £50 games every week anyway? So that's the thing. That's the question. Have they done that out of necessity, or is that the business plan all along? But either way, whether they have or whatever, it doesn't really matter to us as consumers, does it?
Chucking in devil's advocate, PlayStation Now was £14 or £15. It's now been reduced to the same price as Game Pass, even though it's an inferior product. They've still, even though they're well out in front, they technically didn't have to do that. But I think they're still trying to maintain that they are in front by slicing it and saying, "Look, we're still doing things for you." But
Bibby has a TV in his bathroom, confirmed.
I wish.
But no, I agree. And there's all sorts of things there in terms of user install base and acquisitions. If you have a product that costs £15 and 100 people use it, job's good 'un. If you chop the price down to £7.50 and 200 people buy it, you've got the exact same profit margin there. So it's like, yeah, you've got more users, but you're not making any more money. But what you're doing by doing that is spreading your bets. So you're not betting on just 100 people renewing their subscription every month. If 30 people drop off, that's 30% of your budget gone. Whereas if you split that across 200 people and 30 people drop off, oh well, we've only had a 15% cut, and that's probably why they've done it. I mean, that's probably a part of the reason, not exactly why they've done it. Obviously, the fact that Game Pass has been so successful, no doubt there are meetings going on within Sony at this point in time where they are saying, okay, the games this month on PlayStation Now are world class PUBG. But after you get past the world-class PUBG, then they're just a bit like not inspiring. So they're probably having meetings, maybe not for this generation of consoles, but probably having longer-term meetings, which will then form into conversations that PlayStation has with first-party developers or even third-party developers, where they're saying, okay, we want to push PlayStation Now because the Game Pass is doing great things for publishers, developers, and indies. We want to do the same thing on our end. So they're probably having conversations, setting the foundations for time ahead. But yeah, Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, forget that. I was going to move on to a little bit of a tangent, but I'll run back through the chat because we're still on our first piece of news and we've been live for 40 minutes. That's how heated a conversation this is. And I said it was potentially tasty when I began because I thought it will either be a meaty conversation or it'll just be like, oh, nice new console. But yeah, 40 minutes in, damn. I'd say 329 digital and disc 399 we've covered from Craig already. I'm half expecting no discs, just flash media. That's potential. I mean, the SSD capacity, the SSD addition, should I say, along with a HDD means all the consoles are naturally going to have a bigger capacity. I wouldn't be surprised if they all start with a 1 terabyte each sort of capacity, but then maybe the digital one doesn't. But yeah, either way, that's something like that's potential. The Xbox One X was a premium model. I can't see them breaking the £400 barrier, as that's a big price tag that might put a few people off. Yeah, but the £1,000 barrier was a stupid price tag for a mobile phone, and we're now past £1,200, I think, for the whatever the.
Yeah, I mean, who actually pays £1,200 for a mobile phone? Everyone gets it on a contract basis. Can you get consoles on a contract basis?
No, but it's people do actually pay it. People like all those people that are. If you go to Martin Lewis, money saving expert, there's always someone that's got a gift gaff sim and does that, pays the phone outright. If you can save up your contract and then pay for it in one lump sum, you'll basically get it all cheaper. So people do that. But yeah, the £400 barrier. I was the same thing. I think £400 barrier was kind of a big thing, but it's already been kind of teased that £500 is where we're probably going to be looking at for this generation consoles. I would much love. I'd be more happier to lose the bet kind of thing in what we've just said in terms of our pricing and have it be at £400 than it be at £500 all day, because who wants to spend £100 more? But yeah, part of me thinks this is where we start to get towards that £500 sort of threshold. I can't see them breaking. Don't they usually take a hit on consoles in the first few years? Not necessarily. They do when they feel they have to. So PlayStation 3, that was being sold at a loss because it came out late, and because the Xbox 360 came out before it had an install base. Then there was all sorts of issues with that, though, in terms of that's why there was you got like, was it the 60 gigabyte PS3 that had backwards compatibility and like the first one, but then there was like a 40 gig and an 80 gig, which were newer versions that didn't have it, but they've got rid of the backwards compatibility. So they started doing all sorts of stupid things to make the consoles be cost effective so that they could give it to people at a decent price without making a loss. The idea was that they were going to sell them to make a loss and then recoup that loss on game sales, which they no doubt did over the 7-year period. But yeah, that initial hit, I imagine that's not something that they would set out to do. I say that. I don't know. I don't work for either of the companies, so potentially. Xbox making. Oh, I've done that one already. New Xbox Access scheme is on a contract basis, but gives you upgraded Scarlett. I don't even know what that is.
I have no idea what that is either.
Interesting. But anyway, that's it for that news story. We better move on.
That was a doozy.
We will be here all day. We'll jump into our next bit of news. This is from Matt Wales at Eurogamer. He says, Rune 2 developer Human Head being sued by publisher for abandoning game and allegedly refusing to hand over assets. I had a quick scan through this earlier on, and yeah, it's pretty shitty. So I'll read it out, and obviously you guys, we won't spend too long on this one, but it is a pretty interesting / shitty thing to do. Anyway, Rune 2 developer Human Head Studios is being sued by publisher Ragnarok after it abandoned the game one day after its release in order to join Bethesda. Human Head, best known for the original 2006 version of Prey, launched its Viking-themed action RPG Rune 2 as an Epic Games Store exclusive on the 12th of November. As such, it was something of a surprise when the developer announced it was closing its doors to be reborn as the Bethesda-owned Roundhouse Studios the very next day. As you might imagine, those that purchased Rune 2 were somewhat nonplussed to discover there was no longer a studio to support the game a single day after launch. However, they evidently weren't as nonplussed as Rune 2's publisher, Ragnarok Game, which called Human Head Sudden Closure and Resurrection as Roundhouse shocking news in a message to customers, revealing that it found out about this news when you did. Ragnarok explained the now defunct Human Head had a long-standing agreement with the publisher to provide ongoing support for the game, but assured fans that it was working quickly to resolve any current technical issues while we build a game that will execute the exciting planned future of Rune 2's post-launch content strategy. Now, however, in a statement posted to the Rune 2 website, Ragnarok has claimed Human Head is yet to hand over the launch build source code and game assets for Rune 2, despite the publisher having paid for the development of these assets and being the rightful owner. As a result, it has opted to file a legal complaint against its former development partner. This is not the step we wanted to take, the publisher wrote, but it is necessary in order to fulfill our promises to our community. A copy of these legal documents, which Ragnarok has shared with press, alleges that Human Head secretly conspired to abandon Ragnarok and the Rune 2 community and fraudulently concealed its plans to join Bethesda. Ragnarok claims that, despite contractual obligations to support Rune 2 beyond its launch, Human Head told the publisher it would be shutting its doors and terminating all staff 5 days before the game's release. When Ragnarok asked if it could reach out to former Human Head employees, Chief Operating Officer Ben Goki said that would be a problem, according to lawsuit. The problem Goki knew, but didn't mention, was that those employees were or would soon be Bethesda employees. Ragnarok points out that Roundhouse Studios and Human Head have the exact same business address and the same team of employees and principals, something that Roundhouse's creative boss Chris Reinhardt previously compared to press, saying Bethesda offered every employee of Human Head the position at the new company. Additionally, Ragnarok alleges that development of Rune 2 was beset. I'll speed up now because it's a bit of a long article. You get the point. Actually, yeah, long story short, I'll read the last paragraph. According to its lawsuit, Ragnarok is seeking compensatory damages of no less than $100 million US, restitution of all money it paid to Human Head and its co-founders, punitive damages and legal fees, plus the return of its Rune 2 assets. So pretty shitty. I mean, nobody knows what's happened behind the scenes. So Human Head clearly developed Rune 2 for Ragnarok. They'd been paid by Ragnarok to develop this game. So Ragnarok, being the publisher, have paid the developers. Okay, make us this game. We will take care of all the marketing. We will take care of all of everything around it. We'll foot the bill. You guys develop it, and we will pay you for your development time. That's essentially how it's worked. Human Head have done all of that work and then just gone, actually, Bethesda have just offered us a big wedge of cash. So let's just do this, get paid, and then kind of like go, there you go, fuck off, and then just leave and change your name and change your address and no forwarding address. And okay, and that's kind of how they've done it. Proper dirty, underhanded work from the sounds of it. Particularly if they hadn't committed to just developing a standalone game. They'd committed to developing a game and then providing post-launch support. So when the game comes out, there might be patches, might be bugs that need fixing, there might be DLC or any of that sort of stuff beyond launch that they had committed to. They'd taken the money for that and done half of the work, because anyone will know that with any video game, getting it on day one, you want that to feel like it's 100%. More often than not, that's 50%, 60%, 70% of the game. You will get between another 20 and 50% added within the weeks coming after launch, before you get the full experience. And Ragnarok have kind of just, they've invested in this, going yes, but then Human Head have just ditched them. Got a big check in terms of Bethesda have come in, and then just Human Head have gone, fuck this shit, I'm out. Shitty. What do you think, babe?
Did they, when they said they closed their doors, did they go into liquidation or administration? I say that in air quotes, because I have absolutely no idea. I didn't think it was possible for someone to be able to do that, because they've just left that studio and created a new one just to be with somebody else. So they would have known that this was coming for a long time. Not the publishers, the people who've been working on the game. So they would have known that Bethesda has said, come on, you can come and work for us, but we can't. We've got to work it on a game. Okay, when does it come out? 12th of November. Okay, well, the day after that, you come over and work for us. And they're like, okay, yeah, no worries. But at what point are they allowed to do that? Because this seems like a cut and dry court case where they're just able to just recuperate all the money back from them, but the company is no longer in existence.
Yeah, they're just clicking through. The shit thing is, closing its doors is the phrase that is being used in the article. I've just clicked through on the link there, and I'm saying here. Payday developer Human Head Studios to shut due to economic realities. Staff joined Bethesda as part of new studio Roundhouse. So,
oh my god, they've literally Bethesda have sat them down, haven't they? They've gone through the legal loophole handbook.
Yep, they've basically said, okay, you're not turning over as much of a profit as you want. This game's coming out, and you're probably fine. But let's just say that we have a bit of a pot of cash just here. How about you essentially file for bankruptcy or whatever? Maybe that's not the correct term. I'm not a business dude. But you just end your company. So we'll use their vague term of closing the doors. So they've said, okay, that's it. We've shut our doors. This business is gone. And Bethesda, at the same time as getting them to do that, have said, because if you do that, the very next day, we can create... So you are no longer Bibby. As of today. As of tomorrow, you are Bibby too. And you've got the exact same address, the exact same house, the exact same money, all the benefits and stuff, almost like a 2P transfer contractual stuff. All the benefits that you had from one business, we will move that to a brand new, completely separate, nothing to do with the earlier business, apart from it looks exactly the same, sounds exactly the same, does the exact same things with the same morals, beliefs in the exact same place. So yeah, that's what it sounds like. They've closed their doors and then just reopened them the next day, but calling themselves another name. Eggs is eggs.
Like an absolute clean cut court case. Whether or not they're able to go after them because they've changed the name, they've changed the company that they work for, and everything that goes around it. Whether or not they're able to capture them that way because the company's no longer there. So can you do stuff like that anymore? Does it get passed on to your new employers? It's like a debt, really, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing.
Has Bethesda inherited the debt?
No, Bethesda would inherit the debt if Bethesda bought Human Head, and that's the thing. Is if Bethesda bought Human Head, the good thing it gets is it gets all of the existing contracts, all of the potential for profit and things like that. The bad thing is it takes all of the commitments. So be that you have to pay this money, you have to pay that money, you have debts or whatever. Often you will see if a business is in a shit situation, if the books don't balance, one company will go, okay, I want all of that company, but rather than inheriting your staff, rather than inheriting, say you work at a company and you get a day holiday every year you've been there 20 years, you get 20 days holiday on top of your statutory 21 days or whatever, so you're on 41 days holiday a year. Bethesda could go, okay, well, we don't want to pay all your staff 41 days holiday. We only want to pay them 21. So we're just going to wait for you to go bust, and then we're going to buy you then. So if they've effectively, rather than waiting for them to go bust, they've kind of told them to go bust. So it's not necessarily that Bethesda are in the wrong here. Bethesda are a business wanting to purchase another business. The shit thing here, though, is Human Head have then gone, okay, rather than being clear with Ragnarok, we're just going to stop being Human Head and we're going to be Roundhouse tomorrow. We're going to commit to them all of this stuff and then we're just going to do exactly what that says there. I've just lost the comment. You see this all the time on BBC's Road Traegers. Yeah, you get like Jim, the window cleaner or the window fitter or whatever. He's like, Jim's Windows! And then he closes his business, all his customers lose their money, and next week he becomes Window Jim, who does stuff. It's essentially that BBC Rogue Traders in the games industry side of thing. You don't tend to hear it that blatant and that obvious in the games industry, but then again, Jim's Windows and being a few grand in debt to Maureen at number 26, which just got new UPVC glazing, but there's some steaming in between the lenses or whatever, that sort of stuff. That's a bit different from that was like 110 million or whatever it was in the settlement case. So yeah, big difference.
Well, this shitty company has just joined another currently shitty company with the way that they're treating people and their customer base in Bethesda with Fallout 76. So, well, it seems like a pairing match made in heaven. But we'll see how this goes on. I don't know. I really don't know the conclusion of this and where it's going. I can't see it, but on paper it should be cut and dry. But is it going to be? They're asking for a lot of money there.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm not sure where that then goes then, because are Bethesda the ones that will pay for it?
Well, this company apparently didn't have any money, and they're asking for 100 million off the company that had no money. That they're taking £3.5 million to try and create this game. They've pissed it away by the sounds of it, because I've just checked the Metacritic for it and it's got like 48. So it wasn't a great game by the sounds of it. And some of the reviews were like, it's a PS2 game with PS2 graphics and PS2 bugs. So 3.5 million has been pissed away for a game that doesn't look like it's been finished properly, and they're being sued for 100 million with a bankrupted company. So yeah, I don't know where this is going. Will Bethesda have to step in at some point? I don't know.
Well, the thing reading there is, according to its lawsuit, Ragnarok is seeking compensatory damages of no less than $100 million, restitution of all money it paid to Human Head and its co-founders, punitive damages, and legal fees. So it's more than $100 million. But the thing there is, I don't know how that works, because they are trying to seek that money from Human Head, a company that is now defunct. So where did they get that from? Because Bethesda bought Ragnarok. Bethesda didn't buy Human Head, so Bethesda, you'd think, are nothing to do with that. If Bethesda was trying to get in the way and stop them from passing Rune 2 assets over and stuff, then that's a bit different. But as I say, I think Bethesda have been the one with the cash, and as you would expect, if you're a businessman trying to buy a business, fair enough. But it's the people at Human Head that have been tempted by the cash, and then rather than taking it the right way, they've just gone, okay, let's just underhandedly take all of their money and take their money, and we'll just run and change our name. So, yeah. But anyway, we will move on away from that one, and we'll close that one down as we jump into our next article. We need to get Shifty on because we are now 56 minutes in, and we're still only 2 news articles down. As we jump into another article from Eurogamer, this is from Matt Wales, and it says, former Payday devs co-op alien shooter GTFO, get the fuck out, enters Steam early access next week, and it'll stay there for around a year. So GTFO, the new cooperative alien shooter from Payday lead designer Ulf Andersson, will be making its way to Steam early access next Monday, the 9th of December. Originally announced in the hazy days of 2017, GTFO is the work of developer 10 Chambers Collective, a studio whose members previously worked on the very first Payday game and its sequel. It's described as a cooperative action/horror FPS for up to 4 players and promises edge-of-your-seat suspense. I'm going to see if I can play that whilst I'm reading. Where did I get up to?
The video is great, by the way. I watched it this morning. I don't know if it's the developers that have created this video, but the video is so good. It literally tells you everything that's about the game, and I'd never even heard of it until this morning, but it is amazing.
So I'll start that paragraph again then. Originally announced in the hazy days of 2017, GTFO is the work of developer 10 Chambers Collective, a studio whose members previously worked on both the first Payday game and its sequel. It's described as a cooperative action/horror FPS for up to 4 players and promises edge-of-your-seat suspense, team-based puzzle solving, and high-intensity combat. All that unfolds within the sinister bowels of a vast underground complex overrun by terrifying creatures, and the result is an experience that looks to occupy a space somewhere between Left 4 Dead and Aliens, which sounds pretty appealing to me. That looks a bit like the Underground Umbrella Corporation thing from the Resident Evil movie. But anyway, yeah, that's the one. Gather weapons, tools, and resources to help you survive, explains 10 Chambers, and work to unearth your answers about your past and how to escape. According to GTFO's Steam page, players can expect a regular influx of new maps known as expeditions, replacing old ones in order to invent new ways of challenging you and your teammates in new and interesting ways. Additionally, 10 Chambers says that new enemies, environments, and objectives will be added as early access development continues, alongside gear progression, character customization, a broader range of co-op challenges, progression-linked expeditions, and expeditions with layered difficulty. 10 Chambers anticipates that GTFO's early access period will last around 12 months, whereupon its price will increase for its 1.0 launch. And if you're sufficiently intrigued after all that, you can watch a 9-minute developer playthrough elsewhere. We're all going to die down here, says Fatman David.
That's from the Red Queen.
Yeah. The interesting. So earlier on in the chat, Jess linked through to a Hue bundle. We are working with Philips Hue, full disclosure. And we've worked with Bateson, and there's another streamer called Cyborg Angel, and she has that as an alert. I was watching her doing something on the Hue stuff, and it wasn't actually linked to the Hue stuff. Let's bring me back on screen. But I think it was maybe a bits donation or a resub trigger. I can't remember which one it was, but I'm just sat there listening, and I just heard that you're all going to die down here. I was like, yeah, such a freaking
so good.
Yeah, such a cool little soundbite that freaky as fuck. But yeah, GTFO. Going back to the article, not me telling Bibby to do one. Looks pretty good actually. For me. I mean, obviously they've mentioned Left 4 Dead and Aliens. I've not played Aliens, so I can see it in terms of the dark scariness and the monstery things, but it kind of looks a bit Doomish as well.
Do you know, I was going to throw out another game down there with the way that it looks so gritty and underground. Do you not think it's got like a Metro vibe to it too?
Yeah, it's for me. I'd have kind of said somewhere between Metro, Doom, and not even a game. Have you ever seen the film The Descent?
Seen what? Sorry,
a film called The Descent.
No,
but it's basically a dark underground. People get like stuck in an underground cave kind of thing, and there's monsters. And it kind of looks like that, although The Descent is entirely based on its lack of audio and things like that. And it's your lack of sensors that makes The Descent scary, which is completely different to that. But it kind of looks a little bit like it in parts. But yeah, the bit that kind of... Go on.
Sorry, go on. You started to cut off then, so I didn't know if you'd finished talking or what. So it's just technical difficulties again.
I was just going to say, it's described as a cooperative action/horror FPS where it's 4 players. I do like co-op action games like that, where like Doom's okay for me, but Doom when you've got someone next to you and you kind of like throwing med packs and ammo packs and you're both kind of like playing the objective. That co-op horror is my thing, says Precision. Yeah, co-op horror. Like I love that camaraderie of shitting yourself with someone else at the same time.
Did you never play Left 4 Dead?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, mate, we need to pick it up. It's like a quid, and it's incredible. That and 4-player is so freaking good. But this game, I watched the video this morning, and I think it kind of touched on it, saying that there was going to be different levels, but in the video it shows you 6 missions to start off with and a countdown timer. I don't know whether or not it's a real life countdown timer that just constantly resets itself, but after the timer's finished, it gets rid of the 6 levels that were there and then puts another one in, so it just keeps on cycling between them, so every single playthrough isn't ever going to be the same. So like if you go to A1, which is the easy part, you'll finish that, you'll go down to B1, then you'll go down to C1, which C1 would be the hardest, but then it'll change all the elements inside it so that every time you play it, things will be in different places.
That's pretty
But then once that time is expired, it'll put up 10 levels, so you'll have like A1, A2, A3, and then B1, B2, B3, and it'll get progressively harder again with moving everything around. So every single time that you play it, depending on obviously who you've got with you, it might be their first run through on this level, but you may have done it before. And it just keeps on swapping it around like that. But this is definitely a game that we, as Ice Cream, and the community, if they wanted to join in, would be definitely getting on this. It looks amazing.
Well, just looking now, I can see it's on Steam, obviously linked through there, and you can add it to your wish list. So I might just do that. So I can get all the news and notifications. Yeah, I like the idea of playing through an experience, particularly if it's something that's not always the same.
I've just realised it comes out on Bibby's birthday.
You mean 6 days after Graham's birthday? That's what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. 9th of December, people. I'm gonna add this to my wish list. I'm not gonna post my wish list, but you can make Bibby very happy.
As said in the chat from Precision TV, that's Precision TV _ for those of you that want to check him out on Twitch. He says, co-op horror is my thing. And then immediately followed by Number One Pirate saying, watching Precision TV playing co-op horror is my thing. Anyway, so GTFO looks pretty good. We will have a bit more information on that. Maybe we'll pick it up on Monday and then we can give you some more thoughts on that. But moving forward... bring this article up on screen. This is written by Alistair Jones for Kotaku UK, and it says the FBI is reportedly using PlayStation Network to help catch alleged drug dealers. Unlucky bit. Drug dealers could be using the PlayStation Network to arrange meetings with potential buyers. According to a report from Vice, one alleged dealer might have used the console's communication system to help them sell a large amount of cocaine. My God, it's just Grand Theft Auto, guys. Step away. Vice's report is based on a search warrant filed by the FBI in October asking Sony to provide data on a PS4 player who the Bureau claims was using the service to coordinate the sale of large quantities of cocaine. After working alongside an anonymous source as part of the sting operation, the warrant asked for information including the contents of all communications associated with the relevant PSN account, as well as all the records or other information regarding the identification of the account. The FBI also asked for location data, friends list information, and the identities of anyone who communicated with the user about matters relating to drug trafficking. They also asked for the types of services utilised, games played, and content consumed, although I assume more communication would have gone through some cheap multiplayer game than anything like Death Stranding. Imagine that. You're a drug dealer, but what games does he play? I mean,
oh no, I've just got like these mad visions of like Don Doorframe just thinking, right, the only way that he takes his customs is by saying, right, okay, if you go to COD, add me to your party. We'll just play a few games and we'll negotiate deals whilst we're in party chat. It's a bit bonkers, but yeah, it's fair play.
I see you've just hit a 360 no scope like 3 times in a row. You need your reactions to be on point to hit that regular. Do you want something to keep your reactions on point? If you do, add me on PSN Party Chat. Yeah. So it's just, for me, the weird thing, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. You've got to be smart if you want to traffic large amounts of any drugs, I'd imagine. You can't just post it up on Facebook. Yeah, I got 2.5 tons of cocaine. Does anybody want to chisel a bit off? Yeah, you'll soon get found out. So having networks, and if anyone, I mean, I'm an expert on trafficking drugs because I've seen The Wire. I know how it works. So there. But yeah, using things like PSNs and whatever doesn't surprise me that it's being used. I do find it funny though that rather than just asking for who they've communicated and how they've done that, be it through voice chats, be it through in-game chat, be it through whatever, it's the fact that they're asking for like the types of services utilized. Understand that they want to know what services are they using, like downloadable apps onto the PlayStation that they might be using for additional communications. I mean, services could include like whatever, but then it goes games played. I mean, that's the bit that kind of weirds me out. Is that because they want to know what games they've played so they can find out which games they've got in-game chat, which might be separate to PSN, or is that just because they want to make like profiles? Yeah, Bibby, he played a bit of Rune 2 the other day, and everyone knows that stopped support 24 hours after it launched. So yeah, we know that drug dealers tend to use like Rune 2. So could playing Rune 2 get you on a list? What the fuck?
Well, when I pulled this article, it made me think of. Do you remember when there was when the bombs went off in Paris?
Yeah.
Now there was an article that got written around that time. I think it was a couple of days after, and I've literally just brought it up now. It was on Forbes, and it was how ISIS terrorists may have used PlayStation 4 to discuss and plan attacks. So it's not the first time that this has ever happened. It's still, but it's an instant messaging device. Eventually, it's going to get found because there's going to be words that get filtered through that are going to trigger some people.
The thing is, though, it's not an instant messaging device. I mean, it is if you've got the app on your phone, but anyone that has tried to write a message to someone on PlayStation Network using the controller, 12 hours later, GG. Fuck, it says GB. Fuck, I didn't even mean GB. Great Britain? What is this? Good babe, sir. Live in Salford, you become plus 100 drug dealer knowledge. Yes! There we go. That's what it is. But anyway.
Yeah.
Don't, guys, pro tip from Ice Cream, do not sell your drugs through PSN. They know about it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to respond to all of you PSN friend requests. Hit me up on Xbox Live instead.
Looking at this article, I know I posted it to you before, and it was going to be our final one. I think it's just too big. I think I need to go through it, condense it down into a manageable thing, and we can talk about it tomorrow because we're going to be here all day with this one.
Damn. Yep, that is a chunk of an article and a half. I didn't even realise how long that is.
Yeah, I put it in the notes saying it's a hefty one, but we can tease it now and then say, okay, tomorrow we'll give you a breakdown.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we should show it anyway, just so that I can point out the fact that it was written on Graham's birthday, December the 3rd. There we go. Richard Leadbetter from Eurogamer. We'll pick this up tomorrow. We've had a lot of talk about xCloud and things so far, and Xbox and the Game Pass on the show already, so we might as well give a little bit of a tease for it and then come back to it tomorrow. So Project xCloud tested. Has Microsoft really delivered a portable Xbox One? Can smartphone streaming come close to the local experience? This is for from Richard Leadbetter for Eurogamer. So pretty good article. I mean, when we say it's a big article, obviously you've seen some of the articles that we've gone through, but damn. So
it's literally about 20 paragraphs long with breakdowns. So yeah, it's something that Mark Bamber sent to me yesterday, Mr. Jelly himself. Yeah, this is something that we've talked about a million times, and obviously I've been able to use xCloud myself on my phone, and I've really enjoyed it. But this is kind of saying, right, Stadia's out. What does this compare to it? How good is it on your TV? How good is it? Blah blah blah. So yeah, it's a really really good article. I'm only like halfway through it now, and I feel like I've been reading it for about 4 days. But if you are like a massive and you are super excited about this, I can drop it in the chat for you now, but I'll down through the finer points during the stream tomorrow.
I'm going to jump in there because that was breaking up quite a bit. I assume you said if you're a big Xbox fan and you want to know, you'll put the article in the stream for people to have a look at now, but we will pick it apart tomorrow.
Confirmed, though.
Yes. Next Gen Renegade saw all I heard was if you are a massive, and that's what I heard too. If you are a massive silence. So yes, Project xCloud tested. We will go through Richard Leadbetter's article for Eurogamer there to give you his insights onto Project xCloud and how it delivers, giving Xbox One experiences on portable devices. Obviously, Bibba mentions he's played it, but we've not kind of gone through it enough. Definitely not through the to the level that Richard Leadbetter has gone through, because that is an absolute whopper of an article. When I was scrolling down the page, then genuinely, I was thinking, "Oh, this is the end of it," but it was literally 20% of the way through. It was like, "Whoa!" So yeah, there you go. The link is in the chat. Feel free to check that out if you want to have a little bit of an advanced preview. Bring your thoughts back tomorrow. A little bit of extra reading for you there. I wonder what the equivalent of a shoes over a power line is. Yeah, that's pretty good. How do you signify that you are Captain Cocaina on PSN? I mean, that's amazing. But yeah, bring that thought process back with you as well tomorrow. That is the end of the scoop today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for sticking with us. We've had a lot of back and forth, particularly talking about the Xbox segment at the start of the show. GGWP says Precision. Oh yeah, much love Precision as well. I won't draw too much attention to it, but you're a very lovely man. I think you know what I'm chatting about. But yes, everyone else in the chat, thank you very much for your thought process backwards and forwards, particularly around the Xbox stuff. Obviously, we will jump back into that tomorrow. Hopefully, we can show you the Ice Cream Upload Studio tomorrow too. When I say show you, I mean just be there. And hopefully everything works, because we've had some changes behind the scenes. You probably won't notice too much different. Maybe the lighting will look a little bit sexier and less like fluorescent orange. Shout out to Alistair from the team for a lot of work in making the Ice Cream Upload Studio. If it doesn't look much different, just looks a little bit better to you, then that's exactly what we kind of wanted to go for, just so that we can make things all beautiful and sexy. But that, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, is it for today's show. We bring you the scoop each and every weekday, 10 a.m. We then turn that into a video podcast on YouTube around an hour after the show's finished, and then we give you 4 places to listen to the audio podcast to each and every single weekday. If you want to find those links, I'm not going to tell you them now, but you will be able to find them on @IceCreamUploads on Twitter. We will post them all live there, so go to Twitter now, hit the follow button. If you are watching here on Twitch, there's a follow button somewhere kind of over there. Make sure you hit that now. If you haven't already, do it. Do it now. I'll give you a second, okay? Go press it. There we go. Okay, yeah, you guys all press the button. Because that way you will get notified when we go live at 10 a.m. ish tomorrow to live from the Ice Cream Studios But I think that's about it. Anything you want to add before we disappear, Bib?
Yes, as always, if you do see anything that's floating around in the video game space on either social media or any of the websites that we get our data from, then feel free to tag us in at We've Got Being You on Twitter, at Graham_Day on Twitter, and obviously, as always, Ice Cream Uploads on Twitter, and we will be able to give you our thoughts and opinions tomorrow, live from 10 a.m. in the Ice Cream Uploads newly refurbished studio.
As Pirates just typed !socials in the chat, it's not working just because chatbot hasn't been logged in. Probably because the studio has been ripped apart. I could actually, if I'd have thought about it, logged in to chatbot on this PC. But by the time I've done that, we'll be all offline everything anyway, so I'm not going to bother. But that's it. Raging Eye, says Precision. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves an absolutely lovely day. We will be back 10 a.m. brightly and sprightly tomorrow to bring you xCloud news and anything else that breaks overnight. Until then, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? You know it.
Stay
frosty.